One Railgan here with a ZvP replay that I played against Goblin. In this game I went for a very quick opener, 13-12, 13 gas into 12 pool, and I'm gonna use that to dominate my opponent in the early game and really draw, kind of set up the game in a way that I can do whatever I want. That's always kind of my goal when I go for these 13-12 openers. What I did was I built the 6 links, got the queen on the way, the link speed, stopped mining gas, and then I'm going for an expansion. My opponent went for 2-gate core. I guess he checked for a proxy there, kind of weird a bit. I always want to have like one link on the probe, because if I don't kill the probe, annoying things can happen like a cannon rush. I'm trying to hide from him that I'm going to take my natural, because at this point the Protoss does not actually know that I'm going to expand, but I'm definitely going to expand, right? My expansion goes down. I'm behind a lot in workers right now. My link speed is about 2/3 on the way done, and I start to realize I can't really break through this wall, right? He has 2 gateways, a core, no nexus. I don't know that he has no nexus yet, but I can kind of assume it. So he builds another cell that I'm trying to do damage to the gateway, ideally kill it. And right now I'm setting up my next attack. So I'm building the evolution chamber, I'm mining gas with 1 drone, and I'm sending my overlord over here to put more pressure on him. He's playing this very defensively, getting the shield battery, and my goal at this point is to always have at least 8 links on the map. I have 12 right now, 12 is fine. And the timing, my goal timing wise here is to have the evolution chamber done around the time I have my link speed done. So right now I can poke around a bit. I see how he also made a stalker. So I'm starting to realize, yeah, this guy made a lot of units instead of an expansion, so it should be pretty easy for me to catch up to him. He scouted a bit with the shade, he moves the stalker over here to shut down the drop, and he's doing a very good job, right? At home, all I'm doing is droning up. I got the links into his base and I'm trying to do economic damage here. I absolutely have to do some economic damage because I'm still behind in workers. But I'm starting to slowly catch up. And keep in mind, my opponent still did not expand at this point. This is a GM Protoss, like around 6k MMR, but he did not expand yet. He's only taking his expansion now at the 330 mark. I managed to save the Overlord. I know he went for a Stargate, so I'm pulling the Overlord home right now. Because I know he's going for a Stargate, I'm expecting an Oracle. It could be a Void Ray, defensively, but it makes a lot more sense to go for an Oracle from the Protoss point of view, to do damage, to get some scouting done. You can see I spread out my links right here to see where the Oracle is going. I saw the path of the Oracle is to my natural, so I immediately pulled 2 queens to the natural. I built 1 additional queen to shut down the Oracle. In the meantime, I started mining gas again, saturated my main and my natural, trying to make certain that the Oracle does not do too much damage. I also keep tabs on the front door of his. By having links here, I can kind of see when he starts to move out. He doesn't really have an other option to move out other than through the front door, so if I have links in this area I can always see if he tries to go out. I also put links at the expansions now, because I'm kinda like, yeah, around this time is when he could try to move out with an adept and a zealot or a stalker and try to take the 3rd base. So I'm keeping I'm keeping tabs on him. I throw down the Roach Warren, and at this point like I feel pretty good, right? It's 5:30. Protoss did not take a 3rd base. He's going for a very heavy push, as we can see. He's getting that charge, he's getting the robo, and a lot of gateways. I, however, kind of blindly counter this by going for the Roach Warren immediately. The Roach Warren allows me to deal really well with Oracles as well. I like to go Roaches and Queens to defend against Oracle Adept as well. Of course you need some links against that, but I always have some links at the ready anyways. So I noticed 6 minutes 30, my opponent did not expand. So like, if your opponent is on 2 bases at 6 minutes 30 and has 3 oracles in your 3rd base, there is very few things that your opponent could be going for. At this point, I thought either Mass Adept or Mass Zealot, and because I already saw the Zealots move out, so I knew it has to be Zealot. So what I'm doing is I'm starting to build nothing but roaches. I have 2 bases saturated. I have thrown my 3rd base a little bit as well. I think I'm going to move this Spore over there away. He should have tried to snipe the Queen there, but I'm not sure why I didn't go for that. He sees that I have some drones at the 3rd base, and I see the warp in here, kind of accidentally, because I just moved my links home. So I know he's going for a huge Zealot attack. I immediately evacuate my drones from my 3rd base, move the Spore Crawler to my natural, to try and defend here with Queens and Queen Roach and the Spore Crawler. The Spore Crawler helps me a lot against the Oracles. It also allows me to fight against the Warp Prism. What I'm trying to do right here is get the Spore Crawler underneath the Warp Prism. That way the Warp Prism has to move and he cannot warp in. I have the Hydra then ready in case I need some Hydras to help me deal with the Oracles, and I'm building a lot of roaches. What is important is that I'm not trying to fight him here, because this is the area where my units kind of gather up. Like the units from the natural are here in like 2 seconds, the units from the main in 4-5, and the ones from over here as well in like 5 seconds. So this is kind of the area where my units are the fastest. That's why I'm trying to fight him here. And here you can see he tried to move the Warp Prism out of the range of the Spore Crawler. He's sadly still in the range and he's taking a lot of damage, so he has to move the Warp Prism again. This leads to him stockpiling quite a few resources, right? He also cannot kill my 3rd base, because if he wastes a lot of time killing my 3rd base, my roach count starts getting too big, and then he falls behind and loses the game as well. So he doesn't have a lot of options at this point, because all you really can do is spam charge slots and oracles. If he goes for Void Rays, the queens will shut down the Void Rays and the build time is too long. I kind of made a little bit of a mistake here, moving out too quickly. I got a little bit overzealous. I thought, yeah, it should be easy. Went out in the map, but the charge slots caught my queens and then the oracles finished them off. Both surviving, or rather most surviving with very little HP. I'm just building as many roaches as I can though, to try and fight here. I'm not concerned about with the oracles at all. Like, I could build Hydras, but I just want to stop the charge slots. And if I can stop the charge slots, the game is pretty much won. The oracles are gonna do damage to my roaches, but they're not really going to kill them. I had a little bit of spare gas, so I figured, yeah, I might as well get the 3 Ravagers in. If I hit 3 Biles on Warp Prism, the Warp Prism dies. That's why I go for that. And right here you see how I'm trying to take the fight against the Zealots. Excuse me. I move my units over here because the charge shots have a very little surface area here. I even put this 1 Ravager right here, so the charge shots have even less of a surface area, and then I can also bile and do damage to him. And you can really see, like, half of his charge shots are not even fighting here, they're just running behind his other charge shots. If I was fighting in an open area, he would have surrounded me and completely crushed me. But I was able to take a fight and win it there by clumping up my units the way I did. Also had the Spore Crawler here, which helped me a little bit against the Adepts, and at this point I feel pretty safe. Like, I crushed this huge push, so I figured he can't have that much left, so I'm starting to add some Hydras, getting the Ravager in again for the Warp Prism. But I'm not really able to snipe that. But I realized that his Oracle count keeps getting higher and higher, so I pull my Queens here and I'm starting to build some Hydras. Once again, I clump up my units over here to try and deal with the Oracles, and because I had some Hydras here at the ready, I was able to kill all but 1 Oracle, and that 1 Oracle is going to die as well, and he will have to GG out. That's kind of how, I mean, I transitioned from a 13-12, I put pressure on my opponent, I took control of the game, I got ahead in the game, and then I always knew what he was going to do. By having vision on the front, on the gate, I saw the star gate, I always checked when he expanded, so I at every point in the game knew what my opponent was going for and was able to crush him.